Hey everyone, it's Matt from Greatness Every Day, and in this video I'm going to share with you 7 books that have completely changed my life. 7 books from the bookshelf behind me or on my phone with the Audible app that I have read, that I have listened to, that I would highly recommend to anybody that's interested in living their greatest life. And we're talking about books in the areas of personal development, productivity, habit formation, relationships, money, and more. So go ahead, and if you want to find more information about these books, click the links down in the video description, and let me know in the comments if you've read any of these books or if you think there's a book that is deserving to be on that list that I have not included, and I'll be excited to check those out. And while you're at it, subscribe to our channel if you're interested in living your greatest life possible through areas like personal development, health, wealth, and more. So we're going to get into it, but first I want to give you a very brief history about my history with reading. And reading was something that my family instilled a habit in me at a very young age. I read, I enjoyed it, and I liked to do it quite a bit. It wasn't until I hit high school that I said, hey, I don't need to read for fun. I don't need to read for growth. What I'm going to do is read solely for information. As soon as I find that information, I'm going to shut the book and stop reading entirely. And that's what I did for, let's say, 10 to 15 years, anywhere like that. I spent a lot of time reading solely information and really stopped reading for growth or stopped reading for enjoyment. And it wasn't until the last, let's say, 2 years that I started to pick up books again. And from then and from that moment, I really haven't looked back. I've read a lot of books. I've invested in 2 bookshelves to hold all the books that I've either purchased or been given because I really believe that there is a lot of power in being able to connect with some of the greatest minds of our time, to learn from them, whether they are alive now or they're not, to learn from them, but ultimately not stop there at the learning stage, but take and apply what they have learned, what they're willing to share with us, and use that for my own personal growth and the growth of the other people that are in my family or my friends or in my Greatness Everyday community in general. So I hope you like this video. We're going to get into it now by talking about book number 1. This is the first book that I read, and the reason I chose this book when I got back into reading again was because, number 1, it was very, very purposeful. Number 2, it was short. So this is the book here. I've talked about it before. It's Make Your Bed. It's a highly recommended book. It's written by Admiral William H. McRaven, who talks about some of the lessons that he learned while being in the Navy. And the subtitle is Little Things That Can Change Your Life and Maybe the World. And the reason I like this book is it gives you 10 chapters, 10 different sections, 10 different mini lessons that are going to make a big difference for you in your life and also for the other people that are there. And also at the same time, there is a bonus because you can see the book is pretty small when you look at it. So it's an easy read. You can split it up into 10-day read. You can split it up into a 10-week read. There's a few different ways to do it, but it's one that I would highly recommend, especially if you're not into reading and you want to get started with it. So that is the very first book, Make Your Bed. The second book is a book that I highly recommend to people, maybe one of the best well-written books. And in fact, the next book we're talking about as well, but Atomic Habits by James Clear. And James Clear is a researcher in the world of productivity and habit development. And this book is a game changer. Tiny changes, remarkable results, an easy and proven way to build good habits and break bad ones. The thing about this book is I think that James Clear has written an extremely scientific book that provides a lot of information into the world of habit development, but does so in a way that I believe few writers can do, and simplifies the process into something that the average person can understand. Yet somebody that's really interested in science, like I am, kind of meets the best of both worlds with that. So his framework that he sets up to build atomic habits are what he breaks down into laws. The first law, make it obvious. The second law, make it attractive. The third law, make it easy. And the fourth law, make it satisfying. So that is the process that he talks about in Atomic Habits that you can really use to create good habits and ultimately make sure that they have a big return on the investment that you're putting in for that. So that is a book that I would highly recommend, a great gift idea to anybody that's interested as well. So that is book number 2. Book number 3 is another extremely well-written book that ties into the world of productivity, and we're talking about This one, The 5 a.m. Club by Robin Sharma. 15 million books sold worldwide. For his other books as well, The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari is what we're talking about there. A legend in the world of personal development, and anything that he says, you definitely have to consider what he's talking about. Own your morning, elevate your life. The 5 a.m. Club. Are many, many good lessons in this book. Obviously, waking up at 5 a.m. is what the title is, and goes into the benefits of doing that. But also another key takeaway here is the power hour. How to structure your morning, how to structure that first day that you wake up, to really make sure that your body, your mind, your soul, everything else is prepared for the day ahead, so that you are proactive rather than being reactive to what happens in your day. This is a book that I would highly recommend. And these 3 books are all first tied into productivity. And the reason being that I selected those is because it's important to make sure that you have a very good and solid foundation before you go ahead and invoke any change that happens in your life. Understanding how to make the change happen allows you to actually go out and do it. So those are the first 3 books that we're going to talk about. The next book is an audiobook. I love listening to audiobooks because they allow me to go ahead, and when I'm doing things that maybe aren't as needing of my attention as some other tasks. So maybe some of these examples would be getting ready in the morning, being in the kitchen, doing some responding back to some simple emails, or scheduling on my computer. I do often like to have an audiobook going on in the background because it allows me to get more stuff done. And as long as that other task isn't too needing of my attention, isn't where I need to put a lot of my focus, I am able to do both and listen to the audiobook. Number 4 through Audible is Think and Grow Rich. This is a book written by Napoleon Hill. And what he did is he was able to follow Andrew Carnegie around and so many other successful people in his network at his time, and really learn what it took for them to make their fortune, what it took for them to become rich. And ultimately, these lessons apply to making money, yes, but just being successful in life in general. So he was able to share his books through one of the, I would say, most famous personal development books of all time. I love listening to it as an audiobook, and I think it was just over about 10 hours because some of the lessons that he talks about and some of the processes and practices that he talks about, I think really are lent to an audiobook style, as long as I go back through and listen to that audiobook over time. Things like autosuggestion, visualization, and other things, to name a few. So that is a great book that I would really encourage you to go check out, whether you are related your focus to money or just being successful in life in general. And book number 5 is also another audiobook. We're talking about The Power of Purpose by Les Brown. And Les Brown actually created this as an audio CD, compilation of CDs put together. And with these, he delivered them as a message, delivered them as a session of speeches to an audience, really focusing in on why it's important to find your purpose and how to find your purpose. And Les Brown is an amazing storyteller. He is an amazing speaker. He's somebody that if I look and listen, I want to be the type of speaker that he is. And he's amazing at what he does. So as soon as you spend 2 minutes listening to him, I know you're going to have that same takeaway from me, but I would really encourage you to listen to that audiobook as well. Again, it's great when you're driving in the car, you're getting ready for the morning, or something else. The Power of Purpose is really going to challenge you through some of Les's experience and insights from his childhood and growing up and the lessons that he's learned, but also just life in general. You're going to be able to connect to some of the issues and situation you might find yourself in, and really go deep with those if you're really looking at finding your purpose. So that is book number 5. Book number 6 is The 5 Love Languages. And this is a book I have right here. Another small book. You can see it here by Dr. Gary Chapman, The Secret to Love That Lasts. And for this book, it does relate to relationships in general, whether we're talking about romantic relationships or we're talking about friendships, families, coworker and professional relationships. Basically, the whole premise of the book is understanding how people give and also receive love. And we all do those in different ways, and some of them are more important to us than others are. So the 5 love languages that he outlines in the book are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. So once books, you really kind of can go through and work on these things, work on interpreting what matters to somebody in your life, and also how you receive those and being able to share the love language that you have or somebody else has. You can really have some breakthrough and growth in specific areas, again, related to romantic relationships or related to just any relationship that we have in life in general. So that is that number 6. And then number 7, we're talking about The Way of the Warrior. This is a book that I have had for a while now. I got it as soon as I could, and I would highly recommend it if you want to challenge some of your perceptions, challenge some of the beliefs that you have. By Erwin McManus. I've read a few of his other books, and I would recommend them all to you as well. The Way of the Warrior, An Ancient Path to Inner Peace. And some of the issues that are discussed in this are some of the really important things that we face every day and we're currently facing right now. What does a warrior look like? What does a warrior stand for? How does he handle, or how does she handle some of the issues that they might find themselves in when they get placed in different areas as they go throughout their life? How do they respond to things with peace and grace? Does a warrior do that? Does a warrior not? So this is a book that will challenge, like I said, some of your perspectives. It will really kind of challenge some of your belief systems, and one that I would really recommend to people. It might be a little bit more of a wild card than some of those other books as we tie them all into personal development. So those are a few of the books that I would highly recommend to you. If you've read these books, let me know what you thought of them down in the comments below, and also hit that thumbs up button to recommend this video to other people. If you want to subscribe for more great videos related to personal development, health, wealth, and more, I would really appreciate that, and visit us on Instagram and our website for more great stuff. Remember, choose greatness every day. I want to say thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.